Alright, we're going to start to get set up with our 60 degree now. And here's our 60 degree wedge. So let's change that wedge to the 60 degree wedge. Yeah, it felt good. I think I did that okay. Alright, so we're going to set up a couple of things here. Earlier in the book, we described that for a 1-inch deep cal, with the 60 degree, we would need a screen range. I'm going to go ahead and turn the reference dB off. Go back to the basic menu. Unfreeze. We would need a screen range of 2. There might be a shortcut to that. There we go. Alright, screen range of 2. The velocity that we found with the 45, that cal looked pretty good. So I'm going to say that velocity was correct for the material. So when we change angles, the velocity in the material doesn't change. We're going to go ahead and keep that angle, keep that velocity. So we're going to tell it that we're using a 60. And we need to find a new 0 because we're going to spend a little more time in the wedge. There's going to be a little more travel time in the wedge with the 60 than there was with the 45. And the 0 we want as a point in time when we're just entering the material. So if we're going to spend a little more time in the wedge, we're going to have to change our 0 point a little bit. Alright, so what else do we need to change? We'll go into our trig function. Change the angle to 60, and we can throw in an approximate value of the x value. That's going to be the distance from the index point to the front of the search unit. It's about 300. We'll call that 300. And I think we're good there. Alright, so we're going to find our 0 by using the Rampus block. We're just going to shoot the 1-inch radius, peek up on that. We know that's 1 inch away in sound path. There's our sound path reading box. Let's go ahead and set that block up, get that level. There's our 1-inch radius. That's super loud. That's even louder than a notch. That's the loudest thing there is. Shooting a radius is about the loudest thing there is. Come on. There we go. Oscillate. Back and forth. Oscillate. Back and forth. Let's use the peak memory function. Why not? So combination of the back and forth motion and the oscillation will help us find where that peak is. I call that shooting right up into the church steeple. When I'm pointing it up in there, I'm in the right position. Alright, so we want that to read 1 inch of sound path over here. So we'll go back to the basic menu and adjust the 0 until we have 1 inch. Alright, there we have it. Alright, let's do that again. Take it off, turn that back on. Oscillate. Back and forth. I think that this peak memory function is useful for helping you see how your hand-to-screen coordination is working. we've got that nailed in up there, you can point right up into the top. Which I think that's right there. So let's tweak that in just a little bit more. So I think that's good. So we'll call that good right there. And we'll turn the peak memory function off, and we'll go ahead and get ready to save this. We're going to shoot the 300 deep side drill hole. Bring that to approximately 50% screen height. In whole numbers of gain. It's pretty close. While we're at it, let's see how all the side drill holes look. The 1 is near 1, slightly under. 2 is near 2. Under by a little bit, we kind of expect that. 3 is near 3, we already showed that. And 4 is near 4. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ready to save this. Three is near 3, alright. Freeze it. And so let's save this as 60 degree cal. So we're going to create a file. Go to the file menu, go into the create. All our files are going to be cal type files, cal. Alright, and we'll call this 60. Open the edit menu. 6. 0 is over here. And this is going to be all tuned in for my instrument, my transducer, my wedge. So I'm going to append this 60 name with my initials, JE. That way we know it's not the generic version of the cal, it's all tuned in for my stuff. And now we can create and save. Save the current settings, yes. Alright, so we've created the 60 degree cal. Alright, thanks a lot. Oops, that was a little quick turning that off. Let's go ahead and set up the surface distance measuring function. And we'll use our 1/2 inch thick side drill hole block for that. I'm going to turn it so that the 50 thou notch end is on our end here with the notch down. I'm going to send in 60 degree sound into the corner like that. And unfreeze. And here we go. So I'm not going to peak this up. I'm going to bring this to where it says 500. That's where the 60 degree is pointing into the corner. It's possible that the 59 degree or some other degree could be louder. But I tuned this in, the trig to work for 60 degree. And when that says 500, the 60 is pointing into the corner. So my surface distance minus x value should read, I see that as 620. And it's saying 865. I'm way off there. Let's get to our trig menu and fix that x value. We didn't have one in there, or I didn't save it, I guess. That's why we're so far off. And we want that to read 620. Alright, we still have 500 there. I see 620 on my scale. I've got 620 up here. That's good. Now I'll freeze it. And I'll save it like this. No, I won't. Before I save it, I'm gonna go to the 300 hole. This is kind of like my home base where I normally want to be for saving. 300 hole, approximately 50% screen height. Let's bring that up 1 more dB. Now it's a little too loud. All right, close enough. Freeze and save. Overwrite the ID? Yes, save those settings. All right, now I think we'll say we're done with that setting up of the 60-degree cal. Thanks a lot.